Some of you may noticed in the literature I talk about grounding. And what the heck is that? Well, there's been a movement in the last 20 or 30 years where people have come to recognize that if you never touch Mother Earth with part of your skin, you can actually be not as healthy as somebody who's routinely walking around barefooted. And come to think of it, there are people in New York City who say have lived there their whole lives, haven't gone to the shore, never take their shoes off, and so they're never truly connecting with the earth. So there is a documentary that I strongly recommend you read and listen to and watch, and it is called the earthingmovie.com, I think, is where you find it on YouTube. And it is a story of a gentleman who's had lots of healthcare problems and by happenstance figured out, along with a multitude of other people, that if they walked barefooted on the ground, that their conditions were improving. So there has been some science to support this. There's not enough science because who wants to pay for these studies? Big Pharma doesn't make any money. But in actual fact, there have been some studies that suggest that there is something called the zeta force that increases when your feet contact Mother Earth. And what's happening there is there's a repulsion between red blood cell and red blood cell. Now, that repulsion might not sound good to you, but what I mean by that is the red blood cells, instead of aggregating, coming together, creating thickness or viscosity of the blood, they actually detach. They kind of find their own places to move around with each other. And under a microscope inside a vessel, you will see these red blood cells moving independently one from the other shortly after being introduced to a grounding force. And so when you have any problem with a circulatory condition, for which neuropathy is, you want to mitigate clumping of your cells. So in the summer, easy to do, sit on a chair and put your feet on the ground, walk on the ground. All those things are very important. Of course, if you have ulcers or something of that nature, you have to not do those kinds of things. You can't expose yourself to germs. But if you have, your skin is closed and healthy, you can certainly do that. If your feet are tender, you can put your feet on grass. That works as well. Go to the ocean. That works as well. But there's something very interesting out there now called grounding mats, which you can put in your own house, maybe at the bottom under your feet at a desk, maybe in your bed. And these grounding mats are plugged in very carefully, making sure that the receptacle is grounded. And there's a couple of good companies. I have a PDF that I'll share with you about the safety features of these promises and how to do that appropriately. But I've had patients say that they really experience an improvement with the grounding, and it's safe, it's relatively inexpensive, and easy to do. So I say when we're trying to treat a problem that's been chronic in nature, has been around for months, if not years, why not throw everything into the basket, if you will? And so I'll make sure that I include a PDF on that. And physicians might say, oh, that's crazy. But again, there are small studies. Does there need to be more? Yes. But is it safe? Absolutely, unless of course you have an open wound. But you can't hurt yourself with these processes, and I think you might find yourself quite surprised. So give it a try. Take a look at that PDF that I've shared with you with accompanying with this video, and see if it's something you want to add to the program. Thank you so much.